Just make your way to whatever's comfortable for you. Roscoe has his bone, so he's set to settle down. And just close your eyes. And I thought that this week it would be nice to bring a little levity and playfulness to our practice, because sometimes we can take ourselves so seriously when we're on our mat. And so right now, before we get moving, just commit to having a little bit of fun today while we start to move. And just as you lay here, take a little soft smile on your face. Just keep that soft smile, don't force it. And as you let that smile just sit there, just start to notice the impact that smiling has on your physical body. So maybe you feel a little bit of relaxation or a little bit of softness. And then notice if having that smile on your face changes your breath in any way. And you can just let go of the smile, let the face relax. And just start to bring your attention to your breath, and at your own pace, start to breathe in and out through the nose with a little bit more intention. And starting to bring the focus and connection to the breath. And just reach your arms up by your ears, nice big stretch. And hug the knees towards the chest. And just start to take some movement here again, just being playful, maybe rocking or circling the knees. Maybe thinking about what a baby or a small child looks like when they're on their back, this like sense of wonder and curiosity. And then just keep the knees bent, drop the soles of the feet down to the mat. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And if you want, hug your left thigh towards your chest or thread the needle. And then keep the ankle crossed, just drop the left foot to the mat. Take your arms out to a T and drop everything over to the left. So the sole of your right foot will come flat to the mat, right knee points up to the ceiling. If that doesn't feel good for you, especially this early, just uncross the ankle and stack your right leg on your left leg for a simple twist. And then come back up to center. Just unwind the legs and hug them towards the chest. Pause there. And then drop the feet to the mat. Take the left ankle over the right thigh. And if you want, hug the right thigh in. And then drop the right foot to the mat, take the arms to a T, drop everything over to the right. Again, you can uncross the left ankle if that feels better. And then come back up to center, just unwind the legs and hug them towards the chest. Keep the big toes together, just draw the knees away from each other so they're about shoulders distance apart. And then you have two choices. You can reach the arms straight up towards the ceiling here so they're perpendicular to the floor, or you can interlace the fingers behind the head if you want a little support. Wherever you are, lift the head and shoulders off the mat. So if your arms are straight, hands are reaching up towards the ceiling, and then lower back down. So take that with breath. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. You're gonna hold here if it feels okay for you. And then pull your knees in towards your armpits. You feel a little bit of low belly engagement there. Keep squeezing everything together. And then lower everything down, hug your knees towards your chest. I know you're thinking, Kara, you said fun. That wasn't really fun for me. Because it depends on what you think is fun. And then you can rock up and down along the length of the spine or roll off to one side so you can make your way up to tabletop. Now, once you're in tabletop, starting with some circles with the shoulders around the wrists. So starting with shoulders above wrists, lean them towards the fingertips and then over to the right, back and to the left. Just starting to take those circles with shoulders around wrists at your own pace. Shifting the weight in the hands. And then take those circles the other way. And then come back to neutral. Take an inhale, lengthen the chest forward. And exhale, curl and round. And just start to take this cat-cow action with your own breath. Again, bringing some playfulness here. So maybe you start to kind of wiggle your hips side to side if that feels good. Not worrying about being perfect. And then just take one more breath, whatever you're doing. And after your next exhale, sit back into child's pose. And come back up to tabletop. Take your right leg up and back so it's parallel to the mat. Take an inhale right here. Exhale, knee to nose, push the floor away. Inhale, extend the leg back. Exhale, knee to nose, round the spine. Inhale, extend it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend it back. Exhale, lower the leg to tabletop. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, lower to tabletop, sit back into child's pose again. Just take a couple breaths here as you hold child's pose. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. We're just going to come into those tabletop crawls. Some of you guys have done these before. You may feel a little restricted in some of these movements, or it might feel weird. So just give yourself some grace, allow yourself to explore, have a little fun with it, and don't take it too seriously. So come back into tabletop. Walk yourself all the way to the front of the mat so the fingertips are at the front edge of your mat. And then take your right leg up and back. Bend the right knee and cross it behind your left knee. So now your shins are crossed. Walk your hands back under your shoulders just a little bit. This might be a little tricky, but bring your left knee to your nose and take that leg around and back. So your left leg is elevated and behind you. And then bend that knee, cross it behind the right, shins are crossed again. Walk the hands under the shoulders. Take the right knee to the nose and extend that leg straight back behind you. Good, you guys got it. Last one to the back, cross that right knee behind, walk your hands under your shoulders. Left knee to nose and extend the leg back. Pause with that left leg behind you. Now we're gonna go forward, so bring the left knee to the nose and cross the left knee in front of the right knee. Ooh, that's tricky for me this morning. And then walk the hands forward under the shoulders. Take the right leg up and back. Right knee to nose and cross it in front of the left. You've got one more forward, so walk the hands forward. Take your left leg up and back. Left knee to nose, cross it in front. And then unwind all of that. Come back to tabletop at the front of, or the center of your mat. Oh, I saw somebody smiling. That's good. And then come back into child's pose. Ah. And just notice, were you able to find the levity in that? Or were you getting mad at yourself? Or did you find it hard? Just a place to kind of notice what your natural reaction is. And then come up through tabletop when you're ready. First downward facing dog. And just do whatever you like here. Maybe you do something a little different than you normally do. Maybe you imagine that you are a 6-year-old doing down dog for the first time. What do you think that 6-year-old would do? And find stillness here. Walk your feet forward to your hands, forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Don't worry about being perfect. Inhale, take the arms up. Just enjoy the movement. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step to plank. Take an inhale here in plank. Exhale, drop your knees for modified plank. Inhale, lift your knees again for plank. Exhale, lower the knees, modified plank. Ooh, I'm shaking it up just a little bit. Inhale for plank, lift the knees. This is the last one. Exhale, drop your knees, lower all the way to your belly. Inhale for cobra, lift head and shoulders. Then exhale, lower down, press through table to downward facing dog. You know, a lot of times we talk about being still when we land in poses, but maybe today you wiggle a little bit if you need to. See if that's different for you. And then walk your feet forward to your hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. And then take your arms down by your sides. Start to shake your arms out a little bit. You can just stay with that if you want. Maybe start to hop up and down. Don't worry about what you look like. No one can see you. You can all see me and just laugh at how stupid I look. I can see that if you're with someone else, you feel silly and you don't want to do it. I get it. And then just come back to mountain pose, front to the mat, right where you are. Pause there, take an inhale. And then exhale. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step to plank. You can hold here or inhale, hover your right foot a couple inches. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, hover your left foot. Exhale, lower it down. Hold plank for your inhale. Exhale, drop your knees lower to your belly. Good. Inhale for cobra or up dog, your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Continuing to let the breath weave through this entire practice, even though we're not being as serious or as alignment focused today. Continue to let the breath be your guide. Take an inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend the knees, look between the hands, step or hop forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step to plank. You have choices here. You can stay in plank or drop your knees for modified plank. Or if you want, spin onto the outer edge of your right foot. Stack your left leg on your right leg, side plank, left arm reaches up. If you're feeling a little crazy, lift your left leg a foot above your right leg, let it hover. And then lower the leg, come back to plank. Drop your knees for tabletop. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale, come into child's pose. Inhale, back to table, lengthen the chest for cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale for cow. Exhale, child's pose. And then come back into plank. Take your feet back. Again, you can hold here, drop the knees, or spin onto the outer edge of the left foot. Side plank with the right arm reaching up. Maybe that right leg hovers just a foot. Good. Lower that right leg back down, come to plank, and then downward facing dog. You have 5 breaths. Down dog, maybe child's pose after side plank, your choice. I see you're all overachievers this morning, staying in down dog. This side plank is too easy, I got it. No, okay, just checking. Take your right leg up and back. Let's get off your hands. Bring the foot between the hands for a lunge. We're just gonna hold here. So hands can stay under the shoulders on the mat, or you can bring them to blocks. And then straighten your right leg for a modified pyramid. And you have to walk your hands back a little bit under your shoulders so you feel like you have a nice support there. You can explore and see what works for you. And then re-bend your right knee. Spin your left heel down to the mat and cartwheel your arms up to warrior 2. You've done this pose a million times. Can you bring a playfulness to it? Maybe it's just a smile on your face. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, hands frame the front foot, vinyasa or skip it will meet in downward facing dog. And then take your left leg up and back. Bring the foot between the hands and hold there in that lunge. Think of pressing your right heel back and lengthening your chest forward. And don't worry about being perfect, but can you just feel that lightness and that line of energy that that gives you? And maybe it helps you to find some breath. Maybe you don't feel it's heavy. And then straighten your left leg for modified pyramid. And notice, are you being super serious here? If you are, can you just soften your expectations of yourself? And then re-bend the left knee, spin your right heel down to the mat, warrior 2, cartwheel the arms up. And take one more inhale right here. Exhale, take your hands down, frame your foot, vinyasa or skip it, meeting in down dog. Having fun however you choose to get there. How many vinyasas have you done in your life, and do you think of them as fun? I hope so sometimes. It's one of those things, we do it so often, it just becomes habit, right? And there's something beautiful about that too, don't get me wrong. Inhale, take your right leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders come over wrist. We're having fun. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, foot between the hands and come up into crescent. Yesterday when I did that with my class and I said we were having fun, they were like, no, we're not. So again, it's all relative. We're gonna take this next thing slowly for the first round, then we're gonna take a little faster. We did this last week. So hug your right knee towards your chest, and your left knee, sorry, your left knee. Is that what I said? Straighten that left leg forward, and then re-bend it and take it into crescent. So we're gonna take that a little faster, almost like a little karate kick. So if you wanna watch me this first one, you can. You'll take the left leg in, flick it forward, and then take it back, okay? So hold left knee in, flick it forward, back to crescent. Two more like that, kick it forward, and back, and forward, and back. Pause in your crescent, and then take your hands down, your way to downward facing dog. Couple easy breaths here in down dog. And then inhale the left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders come over wrists. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, foot between the hands. Inhale for crescent, take your arms up. We'll take the first one slowly again, so hug the right knee towards the chest. Straighten that leg, kick it forward. Re-bend it, and take that back into crescent. And then a little faster, right knee in, kick it forward, and back, and forward, and back, and forward, and back. Last one, forward, and back. Pause in your crescent. Take your hands down and find your way to downward facing dog. And then walk your hands and your feet towards each other. So you're in a forward fold at the center of your mat. Take an inhale, lift halfway, lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to the heart. And then just turn to the long edge of your mat, whichever direction you can see me best. And we'll come into goddess pose. So take your feet wide, spin your heels in and your toes out, and then bend the knees. So just keep the knees bent here to start. Make fists with your hands and bend your elbows, so your fists are at your hip bones. And then just straighten your right arm forward like you're gonna punch somebody. It's a little bit of effort. And then re-bend that arm, and then take your left arm forward. So just start to alternate like that on your own, kind of like you're gonna punch someone. Let's say we're in a kickboxing class all of a sudden. I don't know when that happened, but I would never want to take a kickboxing class. But just a little different movement than what we're used to doing in yoga. Really get some power behind that. Feel strong, feel playful. Don't worry about perfection. Maybe let your torso sway. If you want, you can straighten the opposing leg as you start to reach across the body. Good. And then come back to center, both knees bend, hands at the hips. Straighten the legs, reach the arms up so you're making a giant X shape with your body. And then bring the hands to the heart. Just walk your feet together and come back to the front of your mat. Pause there. You can take the arms down by the sides if you want. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale your way to downward facing dog. And then walk your hands and your feet towards each other so you're in a forward fold at the center of your mat. Walk your feet wider than your hips. Send your heels in and your toes out. And then bend your knees coming into Malasana. So you can be seated on a block here. Just try and gently lift the chest, spread the collarbones. And then bring the hands to the mat. Straighten the legs, lift the hips, and just walk the feet all the way together. Bend the knees, coming into a little squat here. Heels may lift. You're welcome to stay right here. You're in this tiny little ball. Hips are down at the heels. And if you want, knees will come wide. Hands will plant. You're not going to try and hold crow pose, but if you want to, you're going to lift the hips. Maybe we'll take your weight forward into your hands, rock forward and back. So you're like a little seesaw, forward and back. I know I'm not breaking it down. I just want you to kind of get the idea. And if you don't want to do that, you're just in your squat. Do a couple more rounds, front to back, playful, not worrying about holding it or being perfect. Nice. And then bring your feet back down. Just step yourself back into tabletop. That was a little awkward transition, but you guys got it. And then sit back into child's pose. Just breathe. If you do practice crow, notice what it was like just to not have that expectation. Just to play with the weight shift, feel what happens in your hands, as your hips lift. And then come back to down dog. Walk your hands to your feet, forward fold at the back of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart. And then just bring your right leg into your variation of tree. So maybe this ball of the right foot stays down, maybe that right foot lifts up. Then if you want, arms can reach by the ears. And then in that element of play, maybe you play with your gaze today. So maybe instead of looking down, you look forward, or maybe you look up towards the ceiling, or maybe you even try closing your eyes. Knowing you might wobble, you might fall. Ooh, you guys are all steady. Bring the hands to the heart. Lower that foot down to the mat, straight to the other side. Take your left leg into your variation of tree. And then arms can reach up. Maybe gaze shifts. And then bring the hands to the heart. Lower that foot down. Take the arms by the sides, just like we did earlier, shake everything out. Arms, head, legs, you can hop if you want, just whatever feels good, and just let go of all that tension. Good. And then back to mountain pose right where you are, ground through both feet. Take an inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, and exhale, downward facing dog. Now walk your hands and your feet towards each other, forward fold at the center of your mat again. Bend the knees, take the hips to the heels so you're in that tiny little squat, you're on the balls of the feet, heels are lifted. And then if you want, you can come into a little toe stand, taking the arms forward or reaching the arms up. This is harder than it looks, right? Seems like that should be so easy, but it's not. Good. And then take your knees wide, hands down. You have the option to practice crow. If it's not for you today, you can come to child's pose. You don't have very long, maybe a minute or two. If you want to try it, hands or shoulders distance apart, fingers spread wide. Start to lift the hips towards the ceiling so the legs straighten. Plug the knees in towards the armpits or the upper arms. Bend the elbows towards the back of the mat and take your gaze way forward. As you start to slowly shift yourself forward, take your time, you're like a little seesaw. Good. Maybe you come back down like we did earlier and you're just playing with that front to back shift. Nice. Good. Take a couple more rounds if you're rocking. When you're done, child's pose, so I know that you're ready to move on. Good. I like you guys are trying. Just check in. Do you find times to be playful in life? Or are you like me and you just get into the routine? And sometimes you forget that it's okay to have a little fun. Come back up into tabletop. Keep your hips over your knees and just walk your hands to the front of the mat. Melt your forehead and your heart down for puppy. Just let the spine extend. And then walk the hands back, coming back to tabletop. And just cross your shins, scooch all the way to the front of your mat. If you have a block, bring it with you. If not, you'll have a modification. And just come into bridge setup here. You can just lay the block next to you for now. And just pause in bridge setup with the hips down, spine neutral. Take a couple breaths here. If you don't have a block, you're going to stay right here with your hips down. Don't try to do bridge pose and hold it for this long because you'll get really fatigued. But if you have the block, lift the hips and take the block under the sacrum for supported bridge. You can decide what height. I like low or medium. I think high is pretty extreme, but it's whatever feels good in your body. Just let the block support the weight of the pelvis. Then you can stay with the feet down. If you want to lift them, just lift them a couple inches. Make sure you feel supported by the block. If not, just take your feet down and readjust. And then once you feel supported, you can extend your legs straight up towards the ceiling. And you decide if that's not for you, feet just come down to the mat. If the legs are up, bend the knees and just drop the feet down to the mat. Press into the feet, lift the hips, take the block out from underneath you and just let the hips rest down on the mat. Keep your knees bent, walk your feet wider than your hips, and just let your knees knock in towards each other. You can take the arms to a T or by the ears, just whatever you prefer. Then just draw the knees slightly away from each other and start to windshield wiper them side to side, just at your own pace. Again, letting this be playful, not perfect. And then when the knees are over to the right, just hold it there. You can always step the left leg on top of the right leg if that feels better for you. And then take the knees through center, drop them to the other side. And then draw the knees through center, hug them towards the chest, maybe taking happy baby. And then hug your knees back towards your chest. Extend your legs and your arms straight up towards the ceiling as if you're doing some tabletop on your back. And then just start to kick the legs and move the arms for dead bugs. So just let everything wiggle and shake and notice what it feels like to just let your body go and not worry about everything. Take a couple more moments there. And then hug your knees towards your chest. One more little squeeze. And release the legs, come into Shavasana, whatever is comfortable for you on the back. And as you settle in here, just notice what it felt like to bring a little lightness and playfulness into your practice instead of being really serious. I think there's a time and a place for both. But I think it's fun to explore how your body reacts and your breath reacts to that playfulness. a little less rigidity, a little more softness. Just notice how your body and your breath feel now as you settle in. Without trying to control the breath, just connect to your breath. Let it be like a gentle lullaby, helping you to soften into the shape. Start to deepen your breath. Playfully wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your ankles and wrists. Reach your arms by your ears, big stretch. Roll off to your favorite side, pause there, eyes closed. Opportunities to live more playfully present themselves all the time. We just have to get better at recognizing them. I think our yoga practice offers us time to be playful a lot if we just pay attention. Press into your top hand, make your way up to a comfortable seat, eyes closed, hands at the heart. Maybe commit right now to finding one little more time of playfulness throughout today. Maybe it's something as simple as walking in your yard without your shoes on, feeling the grass beneath your feet. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.